I made a mistake the other night. We did our game previews for the week, and I thought we had exhausted all the games we needed to hit, and then you guys said, no, you did not. What is wrong with you? The audacity, the caucasity to leave out Arkansas versus Oklahoma State. Like, what gives you the right? Well, I don't have the right to do that, so here you go. Arkansas versus Oklahoma State. I heard you, and we're going to give you the game breakdown. Oklahoma State is 20-2 at home since 2021. It has the feel. It has all the makings. It's an early kickoff. It's 11 a.m. Central Time out there in Stillwater. I think this game's played in like the 30s to upper 30s, just has shootout written all over. We get Bobby Petrino and Mike Gundy going at it right there near high noon. Wonderful. Arkansas is a 7.5-point dog. The total is in the low 60s. That total will hit 64. That's my guess. So, Taylen Green, quarterback there at Arkansas. They got him from Boise. Most of you who flip through your preview magazines, that's probably what you know about him. Week 1, lit it up against Arkansas Pine Bluff. 16 of 23, 229, 2 touchdowns. He had another 88 on the ground, 2 more touchdowns. This will be the toughest defense, perhaps, that he's just faced. He was playing at Boise before he got here. He's 0-4 versus Power 4 competition. The last 2 times he faced a Power 4 team under 200 yards passing, well, on average, under 200 yards passing, 3 interceptions, didn't run the ball very well. So it's a prove-it game for him, to me. Arkansas lost their left guard last week. They led the SEC last year, by the way, in sacks allowed and tackles for loss allowed. So they're going into an extremely loud environment. I know you guys won't believe this, but the overall noise level in Boone Pickens Stadium, very comparable to a lot of the places Arkansas goes on the road in the SEC. Now, Arkansas's done surprisingly well under Sam Pittman on the road in the SEC. So that's one reason to be confident here. Taylen Green surrounded by better personnel. That's another reason. They've got the roster and talent advantage over Oklahoma State for whatever that's worth to you. Now, as for Oklahoma State, can they make it fundamental? Because if Arkansas State makes it, or if not Arkansas State, if Oklahoma State makes it fundamental here, and by that I mean if Oklahoma State just rides that guy, Ollie Gordon II, behind the most experienced offensive line in college football, then they'll win the game. If they're just popping off 5.5, 6 yards per carry, they'll win the game. Corners are a question for Arkansas. So if they run the ball, if Oklahoma State runs the ball effectively early and they got to load the box, you got a lot of man matchups out wide. Alan Bowman's like 37 years old at quarterback. He'll be able to take advantage of that. They've got good enough wideouts on this team. Linebackers also a question for Arkansas here. So the one thing that I wonder about is we think defensive line's the strength of the Arkansas team. So maybe they stand up against the run a little bit more than Oklahoma State's used to seeing, and maybe you make Alan Bowman throw the ball. Last year, he threw the ball to the other team a lot. It was the thing that they knew they needed to work on. So if I get him in a shootout and he puts the ball in the air more, it gives me more chances to pick him off. I trust Taylen Green's just got to have the game of his career here. Bowman had 4 multi-interception games last year. That's a quarter of the games you play. So it's out there. It's out there for Arkansas even maybe to get outgained and still win the game. Arkansas's not bad on the road. They're not bad. I mean, they've lost a lot of close games to much better teams than they are. They lost by like 3 in Tuscaloosa last year. No one even remembers that. Just random close games out of nowhere. Jaquindon Jackson's one of the key players in this game because no one's going to talk about him. He's tailback for Arkansas. I think there is a world maybe where he doesn't outrush Ollie Gordon, maybe he does. But there's a world like if Arkansas wins this thing, that's your player of the game. Jaquindon Jackson, he had about 100 rushing yards against Arkansas Pine Bluff last week. If they win the game, that's probably your player of the game. And he is doing the post-game interview afterwards, and he's talking about how everyone talked about Ollie Gordon, and I saw this as a stage to make my mark. You try and envision these sorts of things. That's how it could play out. Colin, let's take a look at what the model thinks. FanDuel right now, Oklahoma State -7. The model nearly agrees across the board. Model has Oklahoma State -7. I think that in a game I expect to be played in the mid-30s, upper 30s, that kind of game, if I have that kind of game happening and you're giving me anything over a touchdown, I'm willing to take Oklahoma State to win the game outright. I will take Arkansas plus the points, so I'll split the difference there. Cowboys win a close game, 1-possession game. Give me Arkansas plus the points.